All right, guys, this is Rudis Rodriguez, and I have a special guest today, as we do every week, every Wednesday. And the main idea why we're doing this is because we want everybody in this room. There's a lot of agents in this room that they have a lot of questions, and also out there, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're in real estate, or you've been thinking getting into real estate industry, we always bring a top producer, broker owner who's doing very well, has done great things in their career, and we ask questions. The whole idea is to ask questions to a top producer. And today, I have a privilege to introduce to you guys not only a friend of mine, but someone that I have learned a lot, and he's always there every time I have a question. He's a broker owner of 2 real estate companies. Been doing real estate for over 12 years. He's gonna get into that in a minute, and doing great things. And not only that, but he specializes a lot in working with investors. So if you guys are looking to get into, working with investors, here's your chance to ask all the questions. Guys, Alex Galvez with us today. Thank you very much for being here today. We really appreciate it. And why don't we start out by introducing yourself? Tell us a little bit about your company, your two companies, how long you've been in the industry before we jump into the question part.
Great. First of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me to come here and share some of the things that I've been doing for the last 12 years in real estate. I think we should all share our success. All right.
Right.
My name is Alexander Galvez. I'm a real estate broker in the Bronx. I've been doing real estate for about 12 years, but really took it seriously about 7 years ago. I used to be a bartender downtown Manhattan, which actually, I think that bartending was actually one of the things that helped me a lot in the real estate business, because when you bartending, you kind of talk to so many people all the time, and they always, you know who's really serious, who's saying the truth, or who's,
right.
who's serious about things. So that helped me a lot in real estate, real estate business. Once I started working in real estate, I own 2 companies. Galvez Properties exists for about 12 years already. I didn't have I had one office in Castle Hill, which I closed. I actually sold it because I went to another business, and then I reopened one. I bought one in Pelham Bay, and then we opened another company that's actually mainly for investors that wants to join us and buy and flip and sell house and do things like that. It's actually a little bit more advanced. It's called United Real Estate. It's also in Pelham Bay, and we're actually preparing everything. We're gonna have a little bit more about that company soon, but for now we're just preparing everything on that company.
That's great, man. That's great. And I would like to open up the floor right now to people who want to ask questions. I do have a few questions myself. As a broker owner, I definitely want to learn from you a lot, and I'm pretty sure that everybody that's looking at this video out there, definitely will learn something from this. So we open up the floor. If anyone has a question, just go straight to the point. Raise your hand, please. Okay, Super Lisa.
So you mentioned that you just took real estate business seriously about 7 years ago. So what changed in that transition since you got licensed way before?
What happened was when
I'm sorry. Can you just repeat, because they probably can't pick it up? Can you just repeat the question?
Definitely. Thank you very much, and I appreciate that. That's a good point. What changed, right? So you actually got licensed 12 years ago, right? But you really took it serious 7 years ago. What changed? So it was 5 years there. What happened?
Well, really, I made a decision in my life to do real estate full time, because a lot of things were happening in my life. My wife was coming from the Dominican Republic. I had the kids and everything, and I was coming home from my old job, which was bartending, and I was coming home late at night all the time. So that was something that I didn't want to do. So I had to actually switch things around so I can spend more time with my family. So that's why I decided to quit that job, and because I was doing both at the same time, and it was very, very hard for me. So I quit the bartending job, and I started doing real estate full time. But I didn't really see success until I started doing it full time.
Thank you.
That's pretty powerful. Who else has a question? Raise your hand. While they think of a question, go ahead. You have a question? Edward.
Like, for example, I get a lot of investors calling me like, oh, can you help me find properties? But sometimes I send the properties that are already in the market, and they're like, oh, can you find me stuff that are not in the market? What are the best ways to find properties for investors? Sometimes I know they want to make the most money out of their deals, so they don't really want something that's in MLS. So what's the best way that you have used, maybe to find properties for investors?
Well, good question. Best way to find properties for investors off the market?
They can come from everywhere. You can find them online, Craigslist. You can use Craigslist if you want to. One other thing that you could do once you have a network, you gotta start making phone calls, because if you don't have something, you gotta call somebody that has it. So there's a bunch of agents that actually they have it, they cannot move it, but if you have a lot of investors, you gotta make those phone calls. Actually, that's actually how he kind of help some investors by networking and calling other realtors to see what they have that can offer to my. For example, I had an investor, just to give you an example, that was looking for a warehouse in a warehouse, 20,000 square feet. I don't really do much commercial or things like that, so I had to make some phone calls. Somebody knew somebody that had it, and that's actually how I was able to get that property for that buyer.
So it's like networking with agents who have investment properties.
I would say it's not that hard. Let's say, for example, if you don't have friends that has commercial properties, go straight to the MLS, find out who is the agent that has all these commercial properties, and tell them, I have a buyer that's looking for something like this. Do you have something? And you start with that. And as soon as you start that relationship, you always call them every time you have an investor that's looking for something, and that's actually how you match the buyer with the property.
Now go ahead, you have a question, Cece?
Yes. For the company that you're gonna start, United Investors, do you have any specific strategy that you're planning to implement? Like, for example, you want agent to bring the deals, or you looking to do joint ventures?
For the company?
For the new company that I have, there's a few things that are gonna be happening in the new company that we're gonna do property management. I think it's gonna be a big business. It's coming up. We actually working with. We actually have a whole team inside of the office to help either investors or regular buyers. So we also have attorneys. We have a whole team that is being set up that I've been working with for about trying to put it together for about 7 years. Put this team together. So basically, in that office, it's gonna be open to anything, but it's gonna be mostly for investments, for people that wants to come in and join with us and buy properties together. It could be regular houses, short sales, or commercial buildings, property, apartment buildings, anything that has to be that is a little higher in value, I would say.
The young lady by there, did you?
I would like to know, I heard from other people, is it good to work with them? Or because some of them can be pushy, and when they ask you to look for properties for them and you can't find it, they just drop you.
Is it worth it to work with investors?
With them
Because they can be
or
pushy.
not?
Good question.
Is it worth it to work with them? Okay, you won't be able to satisfy all of them. There's so many of them right now, and they all want the same thing. I receive tons of phone calls every day. I want this, I want that, but I don't have it. But whoever actually, you have to think it this way. That investor, we have to use customer service. Why? Because he might have houses that he needs to get rid of, and he's gonna give it to you. So we gotta pamper them, we gotta treat them nice, we gotta, take care of them. Because if you cannot help them right now, or what they're looking for or what they want, maybe in the future. So be honest with them, let them know that you don't have anything right now, but then as soon as you get something, they have the first shot. You can do something like that.
Super Lisa.
I mean, I would like you to, I guess, to clarify a little bit when it comes to investments. There are so many agents here. When we speak about finding a deal, what is the deal? Do we just give you an address, or how can you explain a little bit what it is to find a property or a deal that you could bring to an investor?
What you can actually define as a deal
Exactly.
that an investor will be
Interested in.
Good question.
I would say that a good deal could be two things for an investor, depending on what type of investor you have. Let's say there are investors that are looking to buy houses that are destroyed, that need a lot of work, that they can actually come in and do the work and everything and make a profit out of it. Okay, that's something that they look for. Or let's say a deal where Doesn't have to be something like that. It could be a house that is nice, that is in condition. But for example, there was one deal that I gave to an investor, and it wasn't a short sale. It wasn't a property that was really destroyed, but the lady was living in Florida, and that house was rented. She didn't want to deal with it, and she said, I wanna get rid of this house. And we asked, okay, what number are you looking for? Oh, I want 400,000 for the house. So there was somebody else that wanted the property. I was able to actually say, don't pay me the commission. I get my commission from the buyer to be able to help my investor to buy that property. So it really doesn't have to be a short sale. As long as you have a little spread in there, some investors are looking to make 100,000, 150,000. If you don't have something like that, you're not gonna buy it. They don't want to take any risk. But some other investors are more flexible. So if they could make 40,000, 50,000 a deal, and usually this investor work with volume. So basically they doing 20, 15. So if you do the numbers, if you're making 50,000 of each house, at the end of the year, it's a lot of money.
Thank you.
That's a great question. And by the way, when we get a lot of phone calls from investors, and I come across some investors that they actually call everybody. So a question to you is, how do you really qualify them? Because yes, they qualify you as a broker, as an agent, as a realtor, but how do you qualify them? How do I know that this person is not going to go behind my back with a lead? How do you really get? Is it just building the relationship, or there's anything else that you do besides sitting down with them, having maybe lunch, talking about business, putting a plan together? Is it, do you sign a exclusive right to represent? Do you go the extra mile? How do you identify the right person that you're gonna be investing your time in order to get that return, right?
Right now, the way things are going right now, you get to choose who you want to work with. There's tons of them right now, and they all want the same thing. They're all here in the Bronx. They want everything. They want to build. They want to buy. They're all here. So you're gonna get a lot of phone calls. You get to choose who you like. Basically, I don't work with any. If I don't like you, I don't work with you. If you're an investor and I don't like the way you are, I can't work with you. I work with people that I like, investors. So if I have to, I actually screen them out. And
So what are some of the qualities that you will identify in order to work with them?
they're usually very honest with you. They tell you right up front. Right away, they tell you, listen, you don't have to worry about the commission. I take care of you. Let's sit down. I'm looking for a long-time relationship where we can make money together. Let's do something together. Looking that you can hear all those things. When you hear all these things that this guy or this investor has good intentions for you, then you actually can make assumption and say, okay, this guy is good. I would like to work with this guy. And then have a coffee. That's one thing that actually I learned from somebody, from one of a realtor that came into the real estate about a year and a half ago. One thing that I learned from him is that he likes to sit down with these investors, the ones that he likes. There's too many. You cannot sit down with them because then you won't be able to work.
Right.
But at least if you find somebody that you like, go and have a coffee with them. Sit down. Come and let them come to the office and just talk about life, things, and then you can fill them out, see if they're serious, see if they're looking to help and work together.
Makes a lot of sense. Thank you. I know someone raised a hand back there. Someone has a question. Go ahead. Yes, that's what we're here for.
So, how long does it take normally when you find the deal, an investment deal, for instance? How long does it take to close on it?
2 weeks.
It could be
Could be 2 weeks, could be 3 weeks. So that's something very exciting, that when you find a good investor, you find a property, you know that in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you have your money in your pocket. So basically, when I see somebody that is actually good and somebody that I can actually work with, I put all my time into that investor, to work with that investor. How many investors do you need to make a lot of money? I would say 2 or 3. You don't need to have tons of them.
Mm-hmm.
I used to tell to a friend of mine, why are you after so many investors? Oh, I have 20, 30, 50, 100 investors. Why you need so many investors? I mean, they're all looking for the same thing. Just find the ones that you like and work with them and stick with them. You don't know what's gonna come out of there.
That's a key word right there. Work with 2 or 3, because they all want to buy good deals, right? That's pretty powerful. Someone had a question back there. Yeah, go ahead, Sissy.
Let's say, again, going back to the new company, you as an investor, would you be open to partner up with the agents? Like, we find deals a lot of times. We want to partner up, but we don't have the money to fund it. Okay? Would you be a way to do a joint venture, even though the agent doesn't have the funds to fund it, but could have part of it instead of just the commission?
I would say that this way to do it. Let's say, for example, if you know that you don't have money to actually come in as a partner or do a joint venture, then you have to bring something to the table. What do you bring to the table? You bring the property. And then you decide what you want to do. If you want to actually come in as a partner or you just want your money right away. So if you bring a nice property that is a nice profit in that property, let's say $100,000, $150,000, and you're gonna make a $20,000 commission, tell them, listen, you gotta start somewhere. I don't want any money. Put my money in there, and I want $30,000 or $35,000 when you sell, maybe $40,000, and that's how you grow your money.
Thank you.
Very good. Go ahead.
Is that like a verbal agreement, or you sign contracts or anything like that?
You do have to sign contracts. When things get serious like that, you have to have an agreement between you and the investor, and also have an attorney to check it out for you, make sure that everything is correct, and and all the words are fine for you, so you protect it, because things could change in a second. Nobody knows what can happen. So when you're doing these deals, there's a lot of stuff that could happen in the middle, and things could change very quick. So if you put everything in order in a contract that you both agree on it, you got to think about the things that you have the right to protect yourself, and he's gonna do the same thing on his side. So once you have an agreement, then you can work freely and let it go and do whatever you have to do.
Go ahead about that.
So I normally hear that once you have a contract with an investor, or you're actually looking to do a deal, that let's say you don't have a long relationship with that investor, I normally hear that it's okay to hold what's called a non-refundable check towards the property. It's kind of like a good faith. Is that something normal, or?
You mean if you're gonna get a
Like
property
you
for the
get
investor?
a non-refundable check from the investor towards the property, so you know that they're actually moving forward.
A non-refundable check?
Yes,
Okay.
I've heard that. Is that something that you do?
I see it happening right now, because if you're talking about you and the investor, I haven't done it, and I haven't heard about that. But I know that if you're gonna buy a property where there's an investor and you have the property, now this property, you're running a business over there, right? Now you gotta close this business to sell that property to this investor. Of course, they gotta put some money down, and they're gonna lose it, because now this guy is actually closing his business to actually give this property to this buyer. So definitely it's something that is actually happening. It's happening to me right now. They gotta put 5% in on a $6 million property, and they're gonna lose it if they don't close.
Okay, all right, thank you.
It's powerful. What a question. Anyway, before they think,
I can
go
have-
ahead, go ahead.
How do you find these deals? Do you have a website or system?
Most of my deals are referrals. I actually just started making phone calls, and I have somebody that's helping me, but most of the deals that I found is through referrals to people. It's just talking to people, because one thing that I do is actually, when I have the opportunities, and I have a client in front of me, I would like to know what's going on with this property, what are the plans, what is happening. And sometimes, there are properties out there that you're selling and they short sales. There's properties that you won't be able to sell because they owe more than the property is worth. So sometimes you actually have something right in your face, and sometimes you lose it because you're not probably asking more questions. One thing that I do is I ask a lot of questions, and I just listen to any client that I have, and that's actually how you get your referrals.
Now, do you still door knock for deals? Do you still do those regular, things that an agent does, door knocking, lead generating, and all that good stuff that allows you to go to, generate leads, or your business comes more from the investors giving it back to you, the properties? What do you do now?
Mostly from investors, since actually I have a good relationship with a lot of investors.
Mhm.
Mostly for them, all my listings and all these properties that I get is from investors that probably we did a deal together, and I was able to get the house sold right away, and they give it back to me. Door knocking, I've done it, and door knocking and making phone calls, those things are work. Those are the ones that you have to do, even though if you do it one day, you don't do it, but you have to do it, because spread your business card wherever you go. Before I just came here, I found 2 people over there, just in front of the house, nice house. Just talk to them. Hi, how are you? Here's my business card in case you want to buy a car. And things happen, you know, people keep your credit, your business card. It happened to me, some people, a lady called me about, after 1.5 years, telling me that, "Ah, listen, I talked to you about 1.5 years ago, and, you know, I kept your card. Your name is Alex?" I said, "Yeah." But I said, I have her number saved in my cell phone. So when she called me, he said, "Miss Danielle's, it's 1532, East 226, short sale." So when she called me, I knew right away that I had to pick up the phone call because it says short sale. So when she called me, I was able to actually talk to her right away, and she said, "I like, you know, what you presented to me that time. I like what you were offering, you know, selling my house right away, take me out of this situation, and I'm ready to do it." So that's one thing that I do too.
That's powerful, that's powerful. Now, going back to, go ahead, you have a question, young lady?
Okay, investors don't have to have a license like we do, right? So, if you have an investor that's in another state, how do you maneuver working, finding something here? They want to start out in New York. Can we do that?
Yeah, so what if you're an agent here, right, and you have investors from another state?
Like Jersey.
Right,
Okay.
like New Jersey.
Okay.
So I guess the question will be, can you work with them?
Right.
You can invest from New Jersey? Yeah, you can work with an investor from anywhere, even from, you know, another country. That's not a problem. As long as they can buy, and you can help them, not a problem.
All right, so going back to your real estate business, because we're talking about how to work with investors, it's great. Can a new agent, and let's say someone, and I consider new, I don't want to say someone that just got licensed, but your first 12 to 24 months in the industry, you're still learning a lot of things. I feel like I'm learning a lot of things, and that's why I have you here, because I get to ask questions myself too. Even though I own a company, I still think that there's a lot of things that I should be asking. So as a new agent, say someone out there just got started, is excited, they just got the license, and now they jump into this real estate world, right, and saying, I'm gonna make hundreds, thousands, millions of dollars, and they realize that it's not as easy as they say it's going to be, but they get all these phone calls from investors, and now they want to learn about the investment side and start thinking of buying properties when you haven't even closed a deal. What do you say? Is that something that you should be doing and focusing into like working with investors right away? Do you think you should learn every aspect of real estate or do everything at the same time? What is your point of view on that?
I think that you gotta do baby steps. Everything is a process in life, and you have to start little and start growing, learning, because if you start going to it's a rough world out there with investors. So if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna be knocking your head on the wall all the time. So I think it's a good idea to start little. Do your rentals. Go and pick up those listings. Go and work with. One thing that you gotta do is work with a lot of buyers. Work with a lot of rentals. Do that first, and then you go and pick up listings, because the buyers are gonna give you the listings.
I'm sorry, some of the agents are laughing because they don't like to work with buyers.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you something. That's what I did for many years, and that's all those buyers that I worked with for about 2-3 years. They are selling now. So now I pick up all these listings because those buyers that I sold the house 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they say, "Alex, I'm ready to sell right now." I got many of them this year and last year. So if you're starting the business, don't go too crazy. Don't go in and start from the bottom. Go and do your rentals, because you need money to invest in you, which actually your Zillow, your Julia, your MLS, your gas, and all that stuff. So you gotta make money. So if you actually jump into something which is actually working with investors, that takes time to close. If you don't know what you're doing, because you're gonna be working with investors that are gonna be going around you. You're gonna be working with investors that they're gonna have you show properties all around, and nothing is gonna happen. But if once you learn how to manage with buyers and rentals and all that stuff, then you can concentrate. Okay, I know a little bit more. You already know how to read people. Then you can actually jump into working with investors. But I think it takes time.
Thank you. Someone had a question about that?
Is there a site that you could go on to look up properties, investment properties? Is there a site for that?
For investment properties,
Yeah, like you just go on and see houses in foreclosure.
yeah, there's websites, there's many of them out there, and you can find it very easy.
But
Okay.
investors are going on those same websites.
Everyone is going in there, but it's not about going in there.
Right.
It's about really doing the work, the legwork. So a lot of investors are gonna go in there,
Yeah.
everyone is gonna go in there, but by going in that website, nothing is gonna
You might
happen.
just
You
get
gotta go
lucky,
and knock on
you
that door.
might get lucky.
You gotta make that phone call.
Also, when you know, like doing a drive-by and see those, the bank owned the property in the South Border, how do you go about those properties, like getting those properties?
Like again, there are different systems for that. Let's say if you see a property that is actually destroyed and you see that's full of grass, and, you gotta see what's going on. So how do you find out? There's a property shark I use,
Yeah.
and you go in there and you're gonna see.
Property Shark used to give you like 3 hits a day, now they're giving you 1.
It changes, but there are everything is moving, so there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff happening, so there's more websites that you can use.
Okay.
You can find it, but you're gonna be able to find a website where it's gonna tell you what is going on with this property, what bank has it, or if it's a foreclosure, it's already closed, you'll be able to find that on one of those websites.
Because I know a lot that have about 5, and I keep passing them like, I'm gonna check it out, but I'm like, where do I start?
Sometimes those properties, the owners might
They bought
might
them.
be dead, or maybe they're in a different country already. But you gotta do your homework to see what's going on.
Boarded, some of them with the brick,
Yeah.
and all of that.
So the bottom line is definitely doing the homework. She has a question, the young lady back there.
What you're talking about, it wasn't gonna be an investment. I had a buyer, she's my investor, but she was gonna buy this house. She wanted this house particularly, right next to her mother-in-law's house, and she was gonna redo it. Now, on Edson Avenue over here, it needs a roof, it needs this, it needs that. There was a letter on the thing for the bank, called the bank, I called the listing agents.
I'm sorry, is that a question that you asking him?
Yeah. How
Okay.
do you go around that, getting information? I did the shark thing, the property, nothing came, couldn't get no information, couldn't.
That's gonna happen. There are gonna be properties that you're gonna see out there that you're not gonna find any information out of that property. But there's many of them. So concentrate on the ones that you find the information and move quicker. The ones that you can't find anything, just forget about it. Keep going.
But she would've bought that
Move on.
the day she found out.
Move on,
She
good
would've
one.
offered any either.
David had his hand and then Super Lisa. David.
So I tell her, you suggest just go to the Department of Buildings and get the info from the Department of Buildings?
You can do that if you have the time, or you can use one of the programs, one of the websites. It's gonna give you the same information.
Super Lisa.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I feel like we're gonna have to do a second interview with you just for investment.
No, we
One-on-one.
good, good. Only one. The
But,
second one, you gotta pay $1,000.
Yeah. So just to switch it up a little bit, personal question, I guess. How doable is it? I know from Rudis, for instance, he was able to become a broker within 2 years, but how realistic is it? Like, if I'm a new agent and I aspire to become a broker within the 2 years, and you're saying it's good to take your baby steps, rentals, buyers, so now, is it really doable to become an agent right away within 2 years, or you think?
Become a broker?
Yeah.
Why would you like to become a broker right away?
Me? Because I have the entrepreneur mentality and I like building. So that's where I see myself. I want to become a broker within 2 years. I'll probably become an associated broker within the company, but that's something that, it's not on my goals. So is it realistic?
It's realistic to do it. Of course, you actually just gotta accumulate the points. You could do it in 1 year. You accumulate the points that you need, sell the houses that you need to sell, and you could become a broker in 1 year. You can become an associate broker. But right now, the way I see it, there's less people becoming brokers because they don't want the overhead. Things are getting very, very expensive.
Yeah.
So basically, if you actually can work on an umbrella where they're gonna support you, you don't have overheads, you don't have to pay so many bills and everything like that, and make your money and be happy and not be responsible for anything. I would go that route these days.
I gotta second that, it's true.
The AC, the
$9,000.
$9,000.
So, but definitely, that's a great question, and it is cool.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Someone had a question back there? No? All right, well, while they think about all the questions, what system are you using right now, or if you don't have to share, if you don't want to go specifics, but you're working with all those investors, and you're still doing rentals, right? You're still doing rentals,
Yes.
so you're doing great, and you're still doing the little rentals. Sometimes, and it happened to me in the past, I don't want to say that it's happened to me that you get this rental lead, and you're like, man, why would I want to waste my time on a rental if I can focus into sale, get a listing, because, you know, listings is the name of the game. So, are you doing everything, and what systems are you using to follow up through all the business that you're getting? Because after 7 years, you probably be getting a lot of referrals.
I have a really amazing secretary in my office. It took me about a year and a half to 2 years to actually teach her the things that I wanted her to learn about the systems, about following up with the tenants and following up with the landlords and all that stuff. So she actually takes a lot from my shoulders. That's one thing. But I still do all rentals. Sometimes, you know, as you know, we always have closings that they don't come at the right time. So what do we have? We gotta make money, quick money. The other day I was listening, I gotta pay rent. I don't have any money, but you know, and there's about 5 apartments on the list. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bring all these apartments, and I rented 4 of them in 1 week. Make about $6,000. So you know, so the money's there to make, either you know, working with buyers, renting apartments. But you know, there are things that you have to do that agents they just don't do it. I mean, you want tenants? Okay. Did you put an ad? No. Okay. Did you put a flyer out there? No. But you want to rent the apartment, right? But you gotta do something and make money. So there's always complaining. I don't have money. I don't have. But you gotta do the activity. And so that's what I do. I like, you know, I'm involved doing my rentals. I work with buyers, not a lot of buyers, but I work with a few buyers that I actually like, that are people that were referred to me, and I work with them, and plus my listings. So, and I have my secretary in my office that actually helps me a lot. So it works.
You do a little bit of everything. So what about the agents that can't afford a secretary? Would you suggest for them to use like a CRM, specific CRM, or a platform that's going to help them to capture all these leads?
Yeah, CRM is good. I use Lion Desk.
Okay.
It works for me. I put everything in there, and I see what is happening. I can see all my closings that are coming, all my rentals. I can see everything that is happening. So CRM is gonna be a great help. But before you go crazy with the CRM, you gotta have leads. So you gotta go and get the leads. Then you actually use the CRM. At the beginning, when you're starting, you gotta get the leads. You gotta be out there picking up leads and talking to landlords, so you can build it, and then now you have the need because you have too many leads. So I think that you know, of course, I recommend a CRM.
It's powerful. That's powerful. She had another question, young lady back there.
Yeah.
Next one, I'm gonna charge you. Just kidding.
So now that you mentioned your activities, will you take us through what your day?
Through my days?
Yeah.
That's what it does in his
Do you
head.
have a structure? Like, is there
Is it
a
yeah.
timely or
Yeah.
is it like?
Super Linda, you ask so many questions.
Yeah.
I'm gonna charge you.
Yeah. Next time is $100 per question.
We're gonna have one-on-one, you know me, because too many questions. Okay, so no, but that's good. That's good. Of course, that's not a problem. But if I start, as you know, I have a family. I have 3 kids. My wife. So my wife has her businesses too. So I get up in the morning at 6:15, 6:20, help with the kids. You know, get them to school so they can go, you know, with my wife, and they go. After that, I decided to go to a gym. It's not happening. but I go, you know, I go 1 day, 2 days, and then if I don't go to a gym, I stay in my computer at home. I have my small office in my room where I can actually start sending emails to the buyers, to the seller, sending purchase memos, or sending emails to my secretary so she can prepare purchase memos for the sales that I'm doing. So I do that all that stuff. I send all my emails to my secretary so she can start preparing the purchase memos and all the paperwork that need to be done. And then I just leave. I go and see properties that I have to see. Put a sign here, put a sign there. Maybe talk to some buyers, meet with sellers, and I'm always in meetings with people that I do business with. So either my investors, either my some brokers, some realtors that want to talk about some projects, some brokers. Like the other day we had a meeting
Right.
to talk about business, how we can. So I'm always in meetings most of the time, and and then after I finish all my meetings in the afternoon before the end of the day, I'm also showing houses. So I also show houses to, my listings. I show it. If I can show it, one of my agents will show it. I work with buyers too, so I have to show listings for them too. So very involved with the buyers and the sellers and the tenants. I don't really show many apartments, but if I need to, when I have to do it. I go and do it. So I do many things, and but I do it every day. It's the same thing every day that I do. I finish work 8 o'clock, 8:30. I finish. But when I finish at 6 o'clock, I'm so happy because I'm going home to play with the kids and everything, and with my wife and everything. But most of the time, I get home like around 8:30, and after I finish everything.
Give me up one thing. Every morning he said on WhatsApp, prayer to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
We
Wow,
look
wow.
forward for that
He's a
every
believer, this gentleman.
morning.
Do you practice a lot of your personal spirituality and stuff like that?
Yes, I read the Bible every day. I think one of the things is actually that also helped me a lot in this business is God, because I put everything on His hands. There are things that there's no frustration for me. Why? Because sometimes when you are desperate, if you are desperate, it's because you think that you have control on things. If you don't know that you don't have control of things, God has all the control and everything. You're not going to be desperate. You're going to be relaxed. You're going to be happy. Why? Because whatever is going to be for you, what God has for you, He's going to give it to you,
Right.
no matter what. Sometimes there are listings, I wanted to say this, sometimes there are listings that people want to sell them themselves. And they push you not to share with a broker or something like that. But what if God wants to bless somebody through your listing? And you try to stop that?
By stopping that blessing.
Stopping the blessing from that God wants to give to somebody else.
Right.
Then that's actually then you work harder. Then you have to focus more. Maybe you might lose a big business because you're concentrated on selling that listing yourself. So basically, I believe in God. Sometimes I send text to them. I don't know sometimes what time it is. It could be 6:30 in the morning,
Yep.
and I forget, and I send in text to the group chat about things about to be to have faith, to forget about problems, to put everything on God's hands, and I do that in the morning. But sometimes I just forget that it's like 6:30 in the morning. I send stuff to them.
A lot to learn.
They're
from
not
our
they're not
part.
complaining, so it's good.
Nope.
Not yet.
It's actually my alarm.
6:30, time to get
I
up.
look forward for that every
All right, the
morning.
young lady
Oh,
back
yeah.
there has a
Oh,
question
yeah.
again? No, you, I'm
Yeah.
taking it right.
So you mentioned your team. Do you have a normal one? Not normal, but you have a regular team structure, like a real estate structure for your team, or every agent works independently?
They all work independently.
Okay.
What I do is actually I share the things that I can handle. I share it with them, so they can actually take over and do the open houses on those houses, and hopefully, for example, Winston was able to do an open house on one of the houses on Mount Vernon, and it happened that she was the one that sold the house on that open house. And so I share all these things that I can do because I got other things that I have to really focus more, and so I really focus on the things that are I prioritize. I don't know how to say. How do you say? My English is not that good. Prioritize.
The two of us.
How do you say prioritize? So I prioritize the things that I think that are very profitable. I would say that actually where I have to really pay attention and be alert. Those things I have to take care of. So the things that are for open houses, showing houses to buyers and all that stuff, I give it to the agent so that they can actually make money and do closes and all that stuff. And it works both ways because they helping me and we all making money together.
It's powerful.
Thank you.
What a question back there, Mr. Rocky.
Alright, here's two questions, I'll ask one first, right? So you answered Lisa, and you said that your tipping point basically after doing your bartending was going full-time. You said, I can't do this both, I'm trying to do both. And then all of a sudden it started to click, right? Now there's an assumption that as soon as you went into full-time, you started making money, and I don't wanna assume that. I would rather ask you, you're right here. So you go full-time, and I'm assuming that full-time, and then it tips for you, you know, start making money. How long? You go full-time, then you start making money. Was it right away? Was it in a month, 2 months? You start to generate, you start converting.
While I was bartending,
Right.
and I was preparing myself to move to the just full-time real estate,
Alright.
I was preparing myself. So actually, I recommend anybody that's gonna leave your job to actually do real estate. And I always say this to the agents: don't leave your job. And that's the first thing I tell to the agents: don't leave it. Do it part-time, just like I did. Save some money, put some money on the side. You know, if you know that your expenses a year are about $50,000, put $50,000 on the side, and then you go and work full-time the whole year. So you're gonna make money. Why? Because you are more relaxed. You don't have to worry about the rent, the bills, and that's what I did. I saved about $80,000, which were my expenses for the year, and I went and I started doing real estate the whole year. I had nothing to worry about. I didn't have to worry about the bills because they were already covered. So I was relaxed, making my sales, talking to people, and not to worry about bills. That's how I did it. Does that answer your question, or?
It half did and half didn't, so let me just reinstate it,
Okay.
okay? So, and thank you, so what you did, and I got it, so you didn't go full out, you saved 80,000, there was a good transition. Alright, so you left, you got a good nest egg, $80,000, you go full, right? Now you were preparing the grounds. As soon as you go full time, were you already gliding? Because of the work that you have been doing as a part-timer? Such
Yes.
that you glide and then you soar, but you were already gliding?
Yes.
As a part-timer?
Yes, as a part-timer, I was actually, like I said, I was already preparing myself.
Right.
And that was by putting my people together, putting my clients together, and working with them little even, you know, late, and then, you know, but then what happened was when I started doing full-time, that left my business now because I was doing part-time bartending, coming home late at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, then get up at 10 a.m., sometimes 7 a.m., 9 a.m., going to take the kids to school, and then not even sleeping, going back. I was tired. So that was something that was actually wasn't helping me. But when I left it, that I started doing since the morning, just doing real estate. I was just sleeping real estate, eating real estate, talking real estate. Everything was real estate for me. It had to happen, even though the market was really bad at that time. It was happening for me because I was all day just doing real estate on the phone, showing apartments, showing houses. I don't care, you know, I was just showing houses and doing my activities. If you do the activities, something is gonna happen.
Did that answer your question, bro? All right. Go ahead, Mr. Alfred.
Other than referrals, what are the ways you have to get buyers?
Programs, you know, I use Zillow. Zillow is actually, you have to invest in real estate. If you're gonna come in, you have to invest. And if you don't invest, it's gonna take longer for you to get what you wanna get. So you gotta get your account up where you can get your leads and then work with those leads. That's why you have to get ready. That's why you have to do your rentals, you have to do your things so you can actually have your money to invest on yourself. You gotta think about this. This is your business. Okay? He's here to support you. Rudis is here to support you, but it's your own business. You gotta get your sides together. That's the first thing I did. When I first started, I was working for a real estate company. I didn't want to use my broker signs. I didn't want to use the things that she was using. I want to have my own stuff, and I wanted to have my own websites. I wanted to have You know, Chile didn't have a website, and I had a website when I started working a long time ago, and I had my own website. But why? Because I want to have my own thing, so I want to run my business. My business, you know, and I just bring money to you. But I'm ready to be. You have to be ready to be successful. One thing that I did, I will tell you, it is actually something funny. I bought 10 signs for sale signs when I first started working in real estate. When I did it, when I first started, I had 10 signs. I didn't have any houses, but I had 10 signs ready. So what happens? I gotta get those houses because I gotta put those signs up. So that kind of motivated me to actually go out there and get these houses so I can put those signs. That's actually what I do. So you gotta get ready. You gotta get yourself ready with everything you need to be successful. Everything. And you're gonna have to invest money, but then you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it back.
Excellent. We're very a few minutes away to finish up with the interview. We're very excited to have you here. Does anyone has any other questions? Right? No? Go ahead. Back there, the young lady.
Yes, I read that when a house stays for too long on the market is because it's too expensive. But now with the home-owned value, the houses are owned by the bank. Sometimes I feel like they prefer to the house to stay there, like it become garbage than to sell them.
There are many situations in between that sometimes are unknown. So probably you don't know, I don't know what's going on. So like I said before, maybe the owner passed away, doesn't live here, lives in another country. They gotta go and find that person over there to bring him here so he can sign, so they can release the house. That's one of the things that could happen. But many other variables could be in between that we don't know.
I mean when they say bank only. If it is bank only, doesn't it mean that the owner is gone? That's just
Oh, this bank owned?
An REO.
REO, okay. Yeah, could be a bank that has it, but maybe again, you don't know what's going on in between, and sometimes it's very hard for regular people just to get it. Sometimes they want somebody to pay all cash and take it with violations and all that stuff. Now somebody that's coming to buy purchase that property with 10% or FHA, it's going to be very hard because there are violations in there. There are things that needs to be taken care of that only somebody that is buying it all cash can get it. So a lot of people that are first-time home buyers, they want to get into buying a property that is actually bank-owned, that they're going to be able to get it for $200,000 when the property is worth $400,000. Now that property that is worth $400,000 and you get it for $200,000, there's a lot of problems with that property. So those problems that are in there, somebody that comes with a regular loan won't be able to solve it. The bank won't lend the money. So that's why it becomes a little hard for regular buyers to acquire those properties.
Oh, I remember that magic word, I'm sorry, the violations. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, because it has a lot of violations, how are you gonna buy it? Nobody's gonna, that's why it's
The
sitting
bank
in there.
won't lend you the money.
Yeah.
And every deal could
I
be
forgot
definitely
that.
Yeah.
different too. So you gotta identify what really is going on with the house. We're a few minutes away to finish up. We really appreciate your time. What are some of the books? Are you reading any type of book related to real estate? Do you read books related to real estate? What can you recommend these agents and people that are looking out there, right? This interview?
I've really read a lot of motivational books. Lately, to be honest with you, I haven't been reading that many, or I haven't been reading any. But I did read, when I was in the network marketing business, I read many books. And all these books, some of these books have to do with real estate too. Got the name to it, I only read one book, but I always watch videos.
Right.
We watch videos, how to do this, how to do that. I just go online and find how to do it. Listen to people that that been doing real estate for a while. There was a guy, Tom Ferry, I think it is his name.
Tom Ferry, yeah.
Yeah, he actually shows very well how to avoid rejections and all that stuff. So, and also how to do a listing presentation. So I took all that before, those classes before, and also I also read a lot of motivational books, which actually helped me. That's what I've been reading.
Awesome. Someone has a question back there, the young lady. We're about to finish.
Yes. So can you just briefly tell us what has been your biggest challenge in real estate and what has been your best deal?
My best deal?
And your biggest challenge.
Okay. I want to say, when I think about my biggest challenge, I want to say about my best deal. So the best deal was on a property that I was selling in Manhattan. It was a townhouse, but it also had like a store. It was a mixed use, and it was on Amsterdam Avenue. That property was a $1.1 million I was selling it for, and the lady that gave me that property, she actually didn't want to sign an exclusive. Like, you know how they do, they don't want to sign an exclusive, they don't want you to try, they're not going to do it. But she got a buyer on her own for $1.1 million, but I was able to actually find a buyer to pay 1.4 for it. It was $300,000 more than what she was actually selling it on her own. Basically, sometimes they say, like, you want to do it on your own, you're going to lose money.
Yeah.
Get a professional realtor that can make more money for you. So I always recommend to get a realtor, like, to get us sell the house. So basically, I got her 1.4, so she made $300,000 more. But I charged her 7% out of that because I got her $300,000 more. Before it was 5%, I was charging her. I told her, listen, I'm gonna get you 1.4, but I want 7% commission, and she paid it. That was actually one of my best deals.
Sweet.
And my challenges in real estate. My challenges be always that even though that you see me that I'm very successful selling and doing this, I'm very shy. At the same time, even though you don't believe it, but I am. So, but God always
If it's shy.
God always has a purpose for you.
Yeah.
God always has a purpose for you. How somebody that was so shy until I was 17, you put me into a bar to work as a bartender, talking to everybody every day. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And then after that, put me into the real estate market where I had to talk to more people all the time. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But that's been my biggest challenge to actually. It was just to come in and talk to people. And basically, thanks God, that challenge is gone. I'm able to talk to you even on an interview, right?
If people are looking at it everywhere
It's
all over
amazing.
the place.
Amazing.
All right. Does anyone has a last question? Any other question? If not, I would like to ask you to close with more like in a statement. What do you suggest? I mean, there's a lot of agents out there, and there's a lot of agents here that, they're probably in their first, second year in the business, and they ready to take over, ready to rock and roll, coming from you, 12 years in the business, 7 years full time, succeeding at a high level, working with investors. I mean, the last week I think you got 7 listings, and most of them were referrals. I mean, most of the agents don't take even 7 listings throughout their year in real estate. So I guess you're doing pretty good. So what would be one thing that you can say, and look at these guys and everybody that's looking out there, look, in order for you to succeed and take it to the next level in your career, or actually start, the right path in your career, you should do this. So what would be those, I guess last, not on the word, but what do you send out to these people out there?
I would say never give up. Always keep trying. Follow up all the time. Never stop following up. Follow up until the end. Also, I would say to you guys to do the activities every day. Every day, do your activities. Things are gonna happen, even though you think that nothing is happening. There is stuff happening behind the scenes that you don't know, but there are a lot happening behind the scenes when you're talking to people, when you're actually doing your activities, when you are following up, when you are investing on yourself, and when you are positive, and when you ask more questions, and when you listen to. That's all I gotta say.
Alex, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you again, and we'll see you the next week with another interview with a top producer, broker owner, and you might be one of them. We're gonna be calling you if you're doing great in the real estate industry. Thank you very much.
I'll be asking you questions.